Aloha, everybody. Welcome to Live Coaching with me, Kim Ann Curtin, the Wall Street Coach. I look forward to doing these with all of you guys on almost every Tuesday and almost every Thursday. And then I'm going to be doing X Spaces on Friday. And a couple of minutes late today, I am trying to adjust to my new voicemail, but we have a couple of voicemails. So heads up that if you have a trading challenge, these rooms are in service to you traders. I do this as a give back to the community. So if you want to volunteer for trader coaching today, please raise your hands. I'll bring you into the room. But if you're not comfortable doing that, you can do it with your voice only on the X Space I do on Friday. But you can also call. You can call the voicemail that I've set up for you guys. And you might be like, Kim, where is that voicemail? And that voicemail, of course, is 646-828-7736. So you call that, you leave your voice message about the trading issue you want me to address, and I will tackle it. So I am going to take on today somebody who has asked for some help. Their message is in the voicemail. So I am going to speak to that now. Let me just let my assistant know if she can send me the two. Let me just see. How to get into the voicemail. I tried and it didn't work. I'm likely missing a step. All right, so first though, I always want to thank our sponsor, which is Centerpoint. And let me get a little special to Centerpoint, which would allow you guys to check them out for 2 months. I can't say enough about Centerpoint, guys. The level of customer service they give is just absolutely through the roof. You will not forget what it's like to work with them. If you're an active day trader, I strongly encourage you check them out. They're one of the good guys, and I just love how they treat their traders. So that is why I'm very fortunate to have them as my sponsor, because I wouldn't have somebody that wasn't the kind of level of service they offer if they weren't. So check them out. There's the link. Thank you to them for hosting this today, or sponsoring this today, so I can do these conversations with you guys. So ultimately, I come in with the topic every week, but what I try to do is obviously see who here wants to have coaching. They can raise their hand and then come into the room. But if you don't, as I said, you can call this phone number, which I'm going to type in now. You could call it now, but I just won't be able to address the issue until the next session. Here it is, 7736. So that is the trader coaching voicemail. And if you leave your message there, then I will speak to it when I do these lives. So the one that I have right now, I just want to read it to you because this came in recently. Let's see. So thank you, Kim, for doing this. Having this line open is amazing. I was hoping you could help me with the first steps to take in this issue. I know exactly what I do wrong in giving back what I have made. It could be, well, that day or later that week or even months down the road, have to do it well and being disciplined. So no matter how many times I recognize what I've done, take accountability and adjust the rules, I still end up doing it again. Eventually. Now, this could be a brand new message. I do feel I got a similar message last week on this topic, but the point is this happens to a lot of traders. And one of the issues that I always suspect is at afoot is that if you don't have your basic needs met, the ability to be disciplined is going to be compromised. So what does that mean? Well, let's just talk about what some of the basic needs are. this is part of one of my 5 practices needs. I call it emotion. I call it self and other empathy. Aloha, Anthony. It's always good to have you here, and I'm so glad that you were here because you helped me correct my audio the last time. So I'm actually going to change. I just realized I didn't put on my Shure microphone, Mr. Nito. So let me just fix that right now. Thank you for coming to my room, and that helped me remember that actually. So hopefully that sound is better now, guys. There are a lot of moving parts to this. So between checking my voicemail, getting off of calls, and coming into this room, I'm telling you, it's a lot. So sometimes I forget to adjust the microphone, but hopefully the microphone is working better now. I have this very special, expensive microphone. I might as well use it, right, guys? It's been a heck of a morning. All right, so the heart of what I was just saying is in service to what I call self and other empathy. Why is that important to you as a trader? Because a lot of times I see traders not getting their basic needs met. It's good to have you here, Eunice. Eunice, I'm glad you're here. Um, and this, if traders are not getting their basic needs met, like sleep, like good nutrition, like having a friend to, shoot the shit with, right? If traders aren't doing any exercise, if a trader is just caretaking for kids or for parents that are older, and then that trader is coming into the most competitive game in the world and doesn't find that they are able to stay disciplined, I would kind of turn around and say, no surprise, Sherlock. You are running on fumes to begin with. How could you expect yourself to bring your A game to your trading? And that's what I want you guys to be thinking about. You guys are wanting to do, this A game level of trading, and yet you aren't properly getting nourishment in the first place. You aren't treating yourself like the athlete you ultimately are. Now, a lot of people say, like Kim, this, I'm not an athlete, I'm not a sports person, but you sort of are, guys. You have to realize that your level of intellect, your level of pattern recognition, your level of being able to be patient, all is connected to your physiology. All is connected to your biology. When you don't have enough sleep, if all you eat are carbohydrates, I have to tell you, I recently bought one of those snack pack box with the paddling kids. They asked us all to bring stuff, so I was asked to bring the snack packs. Right? Did you ever see those snack packs, guys? The bag, I'm telling you, the bag is like maybe this big. Like it's the smallest tiny little bag. This tiny little bag, it's not even full. It's half full, maybe less than half full. Do you know how many calories that tiny little bag of Doritos or Lay's potato chips or Fritos? Do you know how many calories it has? 150 calories. So 150 calories for like basically, I don't know, 15 or 10 chips. And yet you're going to get zero nourishment from those 150 calories. If that is the way you're eating, you cannot expect your body to deliver at the A game you have within you. So you got to pay attention to this, Lord. Please promise me, Lord, you will do this, because some guys are getting up and eating a bunch of carbs for the morning, and then they feel tired and they're not able to stay disciplined. Well, no doubt your body is trying to do the most competitive game in the world, but you've not set it up for success. You haven't probably hydrated
you probably haven't had any good cry lately or a good talk with a friend to get all the stress off your chest. All of this is contributing to your inability to be disciplined, your inability to stay patient. So I'm going to pause there and say hello to Alex C. and hello to Tina. I'm glad all of you are here today. So the heart of that voicemail is the heart of what you guys need to do. You would not look at the Olympics recently, and you would not expect any of those athletes to, not get a good night's sleep the night before their competition and turn around and eat McDonald's that morning. So you mean it's not okay to have a box of Pop-Tarts and a Pepsi for breakfast? Correct, Tina. And I would say, even if you had like a really healthy cereal instead of Pop-Tarts, it's still probably not a good idea because carbohydrates aren't really best suited to us at the start of the day. And why is this important? Kim, you're not a nutritionist. Why are you talking about this? Because I've seen a difference in my own energy levels. If I eat protein in the morning, I have energy that can sometimes take me past 1 o'clock, and I'm not even hungry because I have gotten fuel that is being converted into. It's a lot of intellect for me too, here, guys, right? I'm always being strategic with my clients. I'm doing these with you guys. Like, a lot is being asked of me each day, but I could not do that all day on carbohydrates. Never mind sugar rushes, which a Pepsi, Diet Pepsi isn't good either, but Pepsi straight up with the sugar is going to give you a crash within a certain amount of time. So, yes, Tina, the correct answer is that would not be ideal. All right. So, what I'm trying to figure out is how I can go. I want to play the voicemails for you guys, but I'm just not sure if it's going to work. So, give me a second here to figure out how I can do this. La, 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 la. I am just having to go into our voicemail on the computer. Let's see if that's working. I don't know. If this doesn't work quick, I will skip it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work for me because it's just too much to do. Well, too much multitasking. There's a lot of multitasking involved in this, and I don't know that I could do it. I know you're trying to be funny, Tina, but look, there's plenty of people here who that is their breakfast. So I want you to realize that yes, I get you were kidding, but there are some that are not kidding, and they are having Pop-Tarts for breakfast, carbohydrates for breakfast, sugar for breakfast. There, look at this lot. Look at, did you ever stand at a Starbucks and look at what people are ordering? I can count on one finger and of my 10 toes and my 10 fingers. 1 out of 10 orders is a good straight up coffee. Most people are getting a sugar filled latte, a sugar filled, specialty drink of the month. Nobody's getting coffee there. They're getting all these super deluxe 800, 900 calorie drinks. And all I'm trying to point out, guys, is that it is going to affect you as a trader. And I want you to be very conscious of that. Also, I think I've mentioned this before. I have a new alliance with a diagnostic lab. That package, we're putting it together now, but it's going to be a very, very robust blood lab work to really understand what your levels are like right now. So, yeah. All right. So, Eunice says, I've made some good changes after my session with you here. By the way, excellent news. I'm so happy to hear about it. And I'm congratulating you for taking it and running with what happened here. You can come into the room if you would like. I don't know if you want to, but here, I'm going to give you this. If you want to come in, come on in. Then you can tell us yourself what's happened. I think it would be great for everybody to hear because ultimately, I can give people a homework assignment, but what it's going to come down to is if that homework assignment is practiced, if you make change, right? A lot of people come into coaching or think coaching is like, oh, she'll give me a pill I could swallow and then everything will be different. It just doesn't work that way. So you did certain things different, Eunice, after our conversation. You want to take credit for that. You want to pat yourself on the back for that because it takes a lot to create change. And that's why I always use that cruise ship metaphor, because we can't expect ourselves to change 100 things at once. We have to start with one and then take steps that are different to move us in the direction of what that one change is that we want to implement. And that takes time. So patience is the key. So if anybody does want to come in to have coaching one-on-one, I just put the link in the show notes. So what I just realized is that I forgot to do this for the live. So let me go and do this and see what is let's see, because basically what I've learned is that X isn't showing the links that I am giving you guys here on Restream for some dang reason. So let me put these links here in the X announcement of this. So we got 50 people in the room, guys. I'm not sure why none of you are wanting to take advantage of some free coaching right now. So please, please take advantage of it. All right, let me put this up and then I can get back to you guys here. So, okay. All right. So ultimately, this is, yeah, I can come up later if you'd like to. Yeah. Okay. Why don't you come? Let's see, what do we have here? We have Alex. See, I'd love to come in live coaching if possible. I DM'd you X over the weekend about exiting my trades emotionally before there's targets or stop loss. So Alex, take that link that I just shared. You're on YouTube, so you should have access to it. It's right ahead, right before your message. Come into the room because he came in first, Eunice. Let's take Alex first, and then we can come and do you, Eunice. You'll use the same link. So Alex, confirm that you're coming in because if you're not going to come in, I'm going to have Eunice come in. So Alex, please click on that link where it says host. I just posted it, and that'll bring you into the room. And then I will turn on your camera and we can get right to it, because that is the best use of everybody's time here, is to have people get some live coaching. Excellent. How are you, Alex?
Hi, good. I need to turn down my volume because I'm hearing
No
I'm hearing
problem.
an echo.
I'm good.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Tell me a little bit more about this. You're getting kind of, it sounds like exiting your trades emotionally as opposed to letting them run. Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I have good patience with my trades. I can
Okay.
wait all day for my trade. And sorry, I was just getting a little bit of an echo. And then
I would mute. It's possible that if lower the volume, perhaps, because if you have the channel playing in the background and you come on, that
Okay.
could cause some. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'll figure this out.
Yeah. Don't worry. You never did this before, so it's okay.
Is this better?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So my trading is actually going pretty well, and I'm good with my patience, which took me a long time to get patience, not overtrade, and away from my opportunities. Problem happens once I enter a trade, I sort of lose my original plan as far as my stop loss and my target. All of a sudden, my target seems way too ambitious. It'll never get there. If I get down ticks against me, I start thinking that it's going right to my stop, right? And I will often stop myself out early and then re-enter once I realize the trade is still valid. It hasn't invalidated. I'll get back in. Or what happens most often is on the way to my target, I'll get some sort of retracement against me, and I'll feel as though this trade is no way it's going to make it to target, and I'll take my my position off. So I guess I'm hoping to learn some techniques to hold my trades better to their expected target.
So here's a question for you.
Mhm.
What is it that comes up for you that has you start to kind of doubt yourself or question yourself?
Well, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't think it's anything exactly with the price action. I find being in trades to be particularly uncomfortable. I'm just not good with it just generally. So I have that against me. But yeah, any type of retracement I will view as a reversal to the direction that I'm trading, and I'll think it's gonna I just think it's gonna come to my stop and take me out. So I'll just exit early.
So can I ask you if you have a risk profile that you stay true to?
Mhm. Oh, if I do, I do. And this
Okay.
happens whether I mean, it could be extremely small size, it could be larger size, it could be even paper trades. I do this.
You're interrupting even in a paper trade?
Even in paper trade.
Huh. So that indicates to me it's possible that being wrong is traumatizing for you.
Mm,
Is that true?
I would agree.
So what happens if you're wrong? What's the self-talk?
Well, I guess it's pretty rough.
What is it? Give me an example of what you say to yourself when you make a mistake.
Well, you idiot, and things like that, right?
Yep. Yep. So guess what?
What?
You're gonna have to redesign what that self-talk is, because
Okay.
if every time you come out of school, you have a bully waiting behind the building that you pass, you're going to stop walking that way, right?
Mhm.
Wouldn't you say that that's a pretty wise person?
To avoid the bully
Yeah,
altogether. Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
right. Like, wouldn't that be the smartest thing to do?
Sure.
So that's you. You're avoiding the bully in your head by stopping the trade to discover that it could be wrong
Mm,
because you don't want to be pummeled.
sure.
So it's really wise of you to try to protect yourself from that bully. But what you want to also see is that you actually can dismantle that bully because it's inside of you, that bully. It
Mm,
is your gremlin, it is your inner critic. That inner critic is right now hijacking you.
Hmm.
So, what's coming up for you?
What do you mean?
What's coming up for you hearing this?
Well, I feel uncomfortable. It's kind of it's a rude
What's
awakening, right?
what's uncomfortable about it?
Well, it seems like it's accurate, and
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 what
it's
what what makes that uncomfortable if this is accurate?
well, I mean, to be honest, it's a little embarrassing, right?
Why would it be embarrassing? You're
Um,
human, aren't you?
no, I am. It's this has been trading, just like anybody who's listening, has been a big project for me and a big part of my life, and
Of
I take
course.
it very seriously. And I think in that, taking it so seriously, I often put outsized weight on each individual trade and success and things like that. So so that's why that's why losses can be very painful, right?
No, that isn't why losses are very painful. Losses are painful because right now you have your sense of identity wrapped up in how you're performing as a trader.
Hmm.
That's what's making it
Mhm.
painful. Because you're collapsing your self-worth with whether you're doing well or not,
Hmm.
which happens to most people, but that doesn't mean it's healthy.
Hmm. Hmm. I understand.
So all of us have gremlins. All of us have inner critics. All of us. There isn't anybody on the planet except for that very select few who apparently don't have this happening to them.
Mm.
There are people who don't have an inner voice. There's a very small part of the population. I haven't met them yet, Alex,
Mhm.
not one person. So far, I've only met people, including myself, that have this voice.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that voice, if it is making you feel like garbage, that is not you. You want to know what your voice sounds like. You want to be able to connect to your own self-talk. But I suspect it is hard for you to hear because this inner critic or inner gremlin is so loud. You probably can't hear your own voice over it.
Maybe so.
Because right now your comfort with mistakes
Mm.
is not there. And
No, it's not.
since most trading requires and will inevitably look like 60 to 70% of your trades being
Mhm.
incorrect,
Mhm.
then I would say you're going to need to really work hard at getting
Mm.
comfortable with being wrong.
Mhm.
But you can't do that if you have a bully internally, an inner critic who's pummeling you every time you get yourself close to that
Mhm.
60%.
Mhm.
But it takes time to unhook ourselves from that inner critic. And the first step is to get the book Taming Your Gremlin by Rick
Okay.
Carson. And
Okay.
also watch my podcast with Rick because it's a great introduction to what that book is going to bring to the table.
Okay. 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 I'm writing
Okay.
that down. Okay.
That is, and the two words that you're going to hear are simply notice.
Mhm.
That feels like a ridiculously simplistic sense of direction, but it is so important.
Mhm.
So as soon as this call ends, Alex, I want you to just for the rest of today, tonight, simply notice how often are you listening to an internal voice that makes you feel like garbage.
Okay.
And then this is really annoying. You ready? Then I want you to do this each time. Remember this when we were kids in school?
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I want you to get. But I want you to get a big notebook.
Okay.
Maybe it's this big
Okay.
because you are going to fill
Okay.
that sucker up
Okay.
like nobody's business.
Okay.
Good job. That's perfect. All you're going to do now for the next 24 hours is
Mhm.
start to get really clear on how often this bully inside has been treating you like garbage.
Okay.
That's all you have to do right now. And you're going to be hungry for something else. If you just do that until Thursday, when I do this again,
Okay.
you will have made huge progress because you will probably be shocked at the frequency of this
Mhm.
mofo.
Mhm.
And that book is not a book you're going to just read and be done. It's
Okay.
a book that you want to just take a little 10 minutes a day is good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because let me tell you, this is what happens when we start to identify our inner critic or our inner gremlin. Here's what starts to happen. They get very crafty
Hmm.
because they got the memo that the jig might be up. So guess what? They go into full CIA subtlety
Mhm.
because they want to stay living rent free in your head.
Sure. Sure.
They've been squatting there for why this bitch? Who is she pointing this out? Now Alex is going to pay attention for us. So you guys got to go undercover.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Good
So
job,
every
Alex.
time I get self-criticism that's rough, I do a
No,
little hash
any
mark.
kind, not just rough.
Okay.
Even the parent, like, you should
Okay.
get up and do this, this, and this.
Okay. I see.
Those are the magic words. Should,
Mhm.
would, could.
Mhm. Mhm.
All of those are red flags that you have a gremlin
Mhm.
talking to you.
Okay.
Should, would, could. Should, would, could. That's not you. That's your inner critic talking.
Okay.
You jerk. Inner critic talking.
Yeah.
This is such a waste of your time. You should just spend more time in technical analysis. That's your inner critic talking.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
You should be embarrassed. That's your inner critic talking. You'll never get this. That's your inner critic talking. They hijack all of us until we start to recognize them. And once we recognize them, the game's over.
Mm.
But they're going to hold on for dear life. This takes real effort. You think trading's hard? Wait till you try to tame your gremlins.
Mm.
That's hard.
Mm.
But it's going to change your trading. Because right now, this is you're not even getting to trade. You're not trading.
That's exactly
Because
right.
your gremlin is hijacking you and pummeling you so bad that you're just enduring. That's not the same as trading. You can't be neutral because your gremlins are making you feel like such garbage. We got to get you to neutral. But you can't do that when there's a bully behind the school on your walk home. You have to stop walking that way. And now what this is you have to start to notice the internal chatter of this gremlin.
Hmm.
And once that starts to get addressed, then your ability to walk wherever you want will occur.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So don't start with the trading. This is happening outside of your trading. How we are, who we are, comes with us when we become a trader. The trading, the market is just not going to allow you to ignore it anymore. This was an issue way before you started trading, likely, Alex.
Sure. Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what's happening now is the market is putting a floodlight upon it,
Mm-hmm.
which is a beautiful thing in the end. Because wouldn't it be nice to be free of this voice?
That would be great. Yes.
Don't you think other things besides your trading might benefit?
Probably.
So it's like, I say this all the time. The market is your personal Yoda. Every place that you have not healed, every place you have not been with the hard truth about yourself, every place you have pretended that this thing over here that happened didn't happen, the market is going to just be like, bam,
Mm-hmm.
bam, bam.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are saying to themselves, oh, I can ignore that. That has nothing to do with my trading, are the 99.5% of most traders. The
Mhm.
traders that go, maybe I'm going to address this, are that 0.5 that make it.
Mhm.
I'd
Mhm.
like to see you be one of those, Alex.
Well, I appreciate that. It never got in the way before until I started trading. It never got in the way.
I doubt that that's true, Alex.
Maybe.
I doubt that's true
Hmm.
because it rarely is a gremlin that just comes up when trading starts.
Hmm.
It's just possible you have adapted to it in your personal life.
Okay.
Because if anytime that's the self-talk, it's going to cost us.
Mhm.
But we can become accustomed very quickly to that kind of treatment if we have it long enough.
Mhm.
So I
Well-
would be in inquiry of that.
Mhm.
Is that true? Did this never show up before in my personal life? Just be in the inquiry.
Yeah.
Where is it possible that this has been there? Isn't that a fascinating inquiry to
Mm.
be in?
Mm.
But I want to also say this, Alex. This is a topic I repeatedly talk to traders about. So what that tells you is you are certainly not the only one.
Mhm.
So that making you feel like you're embarrassed is that inner critic again telling you somehow you have to be not what you are, which is human.
Mm.
And unless you're from another planet, Alex, everybody you meet all the day long, we're all just these fallible humans doing the best we can,
Mhm.
including you.
Mhm.
So cut yourself a little slack.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Kim.
You're so welcome, man. Let me know how it goes, and we'll
Okay.
talk more soon, I'm sure.
Okay. I'll do it till
Okay.
Thursday. Thank you.
Perfect. All right.
All right.
Aloha for
Bye-bye.
now. Bye. All right, guys. So I think I'm so glad you're here, Liz. I don't know if we're going to have enough time. Eunice is next on the docket. Eunice, if you can, please take that link that I shared. And Liz, if I can get you in, I will. But it just depends because I don't have that much time to give today. So we'll see about, we'll probably, I'll be back on Thursday. Liz, if you want to like sign up now for that, yours was similar, Eunice. Okay, that's okay. Like, you don't have to come in. But let me tell you this, guys, as I look inside the voicemail, holy crap, folks, I'm so happy to report there are so many voicemails in our new Trader Vet line. I don't know what happened, but I literally can't even tell you how many are there. It's like, I don't know, 10 or 15. So I may not be able to actually get through all of them. All right. Let me see though. First of all, Eunice, are you going to come into the room? Let me know if you are coming so I can. Oh, you're already there. He's like, Kim, I'm already here. What the hell? BTO, I'm glad you're here. That gremlin does have a grip. How the hell are you, Eunice? It's so good to have you here.
Hi, Kim. Thanks. I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing good. Doing good. Please give me an update on how the homework went. And why don't you just, for those who are here for the first time, who don't know who you are, would you be willing to just speak to like what you struggled with, what the homework was, and then what's happened? Just a quick recap.
Well, it was actually not different than the previous case.
Alex.
Yeah, like Alex, turns out for me as well, I've been having a really problem with my inner gremlin and just been, I was stuck with that rather than focusing on the statistics and, and the trades that I took. I was just too much focused on making the day green, like Alex as well. But after our talk, I've got the book as well. Just started it, but also had another book. I think The Untethered Soul. Maybe you heard of it.
Love that. I've read it. It's awesome. Michael Singer.
It helped a lot too. So, from that day, I've not had a red day. Yeah, I've not had a red day. So, the change I made on my trading was, it suggests lack of probability. So I know my trading has edge. I know if I executed A plus, I'm gonna get the outcome. So I just like, why am I doing this? Why am I chasing trades? Why am I pushing it? Why am I trying to? I'm just gonna focus on that one trade or the trade that my A plus setup is. So right after that day, I just focused on that and purely on that. I could have just stare at a screen for 4 hours, not take a trade, and was waiting for my setup. I think it was one of the other coaches says trading like American Cougar. Yeah, that type of thing. So that's what I went on.
So
So
Eunice,
that's the big change.
what have you noticed about the inner critic or that inner gremlin?
I've kind of muted him with just,
Yeah, great.
he can talk, but I know probability is on my side. So if I do it well, I don't lose my shit. I don't go tilt, which I not done right after that day. I'm going to be green. So that's how I started muting that guy.
Mhm.
And, there's no need for him as well. So just focused on more, let's say, like a professional approach rather than just doing it, as maybe
Yep.
can say.
Yep. So Ricky Analog's in the house, and Ricky, you're reading my mind, brother. And what Ricky is saying here, what does he say there, Eunice? Why don't you read Ricky's statement out loud? Because those exactly what I was going to say when you finished talking. And Ricky is like usual, beat me to the punch because he's such a pro, such a pro. So read what Ricky just cautioned you about. I'm glad you're here, Ricky.
But red days, and especially my red days are usually really big compared to my green days from time to time. But
Yes,
the
yes,
thing
but
is,
Eunice, what's the heart of what Ricky's saying to you? He is, I'll read it for those who aren't seeing it. He's saying to be careful because the goal isn't to get rid of red days. It's to get rid of unnecessary mistakes. And I'll add to that, and it's to get rid of that inner critic even being in control of you when you have a red day. Yes, you want to get rid of those mistakes to at least keep yourself from a red day. But that statement at the end of his statement is so critical. Red days are normal and part of trading, right? So, Eunice, here's the question. What happens when the red day comes? Is that critic going to hijack you again? I'm happier having green days. Of course, I want you to have green days, but I want you to be this confident in yourself, even on the red days, because you were true to your strategy. It isn't about the red or green. It is, but it isn't. In the moment, it's about, are you going to be able to be true to your strategy? And if your inner critic stops you from being true to your strategy, you are at its mercy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I'm always gonna have red days at some point.
Yes,
No
but
one
why
has it.
are we pointing this out to you? Because that's how you opened. You opened with, I've had only green days. And that is telling me and even Ricky that your focus is still potentially on something that isn't the place to spend your time and focus. If you came here and said, Kim, I had a bunch of red days and a bunch of green days, but I followed all of my strategy to a T, I would be celebrating that more. Right?
Yeah, that was kind of just making me want to maybe like a clickbait at first, but yeah. But on my journal right now, I'm criticizing myself on the execution. So like my A plus, I was B or C. So let's say that my execution was B minus today, for example. So that's how I critique myself in my
I
journal
I
nowadays.
love that you are looking at how your day went. I love that. It's so important. And critiquing is okay. But the key is not letting those mistakes metastasize into the gremlin making you ashamed, making you feel like crap. That's the key. You can neutrally look at how you traded that day and see the places you could have done better, but don't let it slip into beating yourself up with a whip. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've done that, and I was doing that in the past as
Yeah.
well.
But you're moving in the right direction, Eunice. And I don't, BTO, that's the best quote of Mike Bellafiore. There will be successful red days when those are small. What a perfect quote that is. I'm very excited because Mike's agreed to come on my podcast. He's going to come on in September,
Oh.
guys. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I have his book actually right here in my bed because I have it with me everywhere I'm going right now. So I'm preparing. So that is the key. Like, you're going to have red days, and the key is how to keep them small. You're going to need to practice the comfort with the discomfort so that it doesn't get too dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Also, I had a little question for you.
Sure.
So, according to my strategy and my stats for long term, I was just checking for a few days now. My win rate is actually around 30 to 40%. And if you look at the probabilities perspective, it is the chance of me getting 3 losses in a row is actually around 10%. So it's actually quite high in terms of probabilities, right? So, if I have a low win rate, but my wins are usually a lot bigger than my losses, I love to take my losses really quick. That's my strategy, actually. So in a scenario, as I mentioned, it's really easy to get 3 losses in a row. If you look at statistic, it's 12% actually. So what would you suggest me to, let's say that I get 3 losses in a row and, still have the same focus and same energy to get on the next trade and just for me to execute in an A+ stage, so not to lose focus.
So let me ask you to narrow that down. You're asking me if you have 3 trades that have lost in a row,
Mhm.
what can you do to keep your focus? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I actually lived that situation really, maybe 3 days, once in a 3-day. So I lived that situation, and sometimes right after the 3 loss in a row, maybe I'll miss an A+ setup, or maybe I'll just take a double loss at the same setup. So I know in terms of probabilities, I can take 3 losses in a row and it should be fine because my wins are a lot bigger than my losses. But still, we're not robots, so
Right.
psychologically it has effect.
Yeah. So I guess the question comes down to, is it possible that that is the day, that moment of the day where you come out of the trading? If you can't take it neutrally, you feel you're affected, what if you just pause and stop the trading? Is that an option for you? How the hell are you, Ricky? I'm glad you're here, and I like your Ted Lasso mustache. and your Hawaiian shirt. You got an Aloha shirt today, brother.
Yeah, gotta be festive.
Gotta be.
Hey, Eunice, nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, man. I've been looking at comments.
Dude, hey, you've been saying a lot of good stuff too. Like, I don't want it to feel like I was only focusing on one thing or whatever. You said a ton of stuff that was really good as well. So kudos to you for that.
So what's your thoughts, Eunice, on, is it possible that when you hit that third trade, if you are being triggered, is pausing an option for you? And we'll have Ricky weigh in on that too.
Yeah, of course, but I usually still continue, but I wish I had like a way of these football doctors, when they came into the player and they check their eye and they check their, how are you doing? Okay, he can play. Okay, he can play, and they
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
so that
but
type
you
of
could
thing would have.
you could create that for yourself. What would be some good questions, maybe, Ricky, if he's hit 3 losses? How could he check in on himself? If he can still trade.
So that's actually a really good question, and the truth is that it'll probably be a little bit different for everybody depending on the person. But for me personally, it's walking my dogs. Like get off your desk, get away from the screens for a minute, and clear your head. And I have like similar rules. Like if I come home from the gym, I have a rule that says I can't just sit down at my desk and enter a trade within the first 5 minutes, because like our brains are really wired to see what we want to see. And so like if you just took a few losses or whatever, and your mind is in this mind state of like, I want to make the loss back, then your mind will see that. You'll see an opportunity where there isn't one. So like walk the dogs or get away from your screens or do something just to, kind of take your minds away from the charts, and also kind of take some deep breaths and calm down. But, like I said, it'll be a little different for each person, but I think that's a really good thing to figure out what works for you. Like whether it's walking dogs or not, it's super important that you answer that question for yourself, because like what Kim was alluding to and what you've also said yourself is like, there is the possibility of taking a few losses back to back. We don't get to choose the order of wins and losses for our system, right? They come and they go as they please. And so it's up to us to kind of acknowledge where we have no control and where we have control. And, the order of losses and wins, if you stick to your strategy right now, the reason I kind of was like, when you were like, I haven't had any red days, right? The question I really wanted to ask, I was like, I didn't know Kim was going to invite me on, but what I really wanted to ask was like, okay, if you're being completely honest with yourself, that string of no red days, was it because you stuck to your system 100%, or were there times when maybe you should have taken a loss, but you kind of broke a rule or two and you stuck around, you turned something that maybe should have been a loss, turned it into a winner, and then at the end of the day, you ended up green. But had you, really been rigid and disciplined, may have been a red day, albeit small. That's the question I kind of wanted to ask, is like, because having no red day shouldn't really be a concern. It should be like, okay, I stuck to my system 100%, and here's what I had. I had like 9 green days and 3 red days, whatever. But at the end of the month, like upwards to the right is my P&L curve. So yeah, when you were saying that, that's kind of the first thing that jumped into my head was like, okay, did you have no red days because you were extremely disciplined and you just happened to have a really good string of opportunities, or were you only green because on certain trades you may have deviated from your discipline?
What's the answer? Do you know, Yunus?
Yeah, for me, like for the past week, I would say because of the discipline, because I rated my execution every day from trade to trade. And as I mentioned, I only had 1 trade today, which I would say I executed really poorly. So, that was how I rate my trades. And also like the idea I come up with when I get 3 losses in a row is if those 3 trades were A+ setups and I executed A+, but it landed on the wrong side of the probabilities.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I tend to want to continue. But if my execution was poor on maybe, let's say, 2 of these trades, then I'm not seeing clearly and I'm not thinking clearly. So that was my way of doing it. I just want to ask, if it's appropriate from like a coaching perspective.
But Yunus, I want you to just also notice right now that Ricky asked a very specific question, And you have a pretty incredible response to that. You were disciplined. So, what I want you to see is you don't look like a person who's very happy about the fact that you were very disciplined. Like, you want to be like, I was disciplined. Yes, good job, me. Like, that's worth celebrating, dude. That's worth being proud of. That's worth bragging. He just asked you a very potentially vulnerable question, and you get to say yes. So say it like you're happy about it. 'Cause that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, I still have to work on that gremlin situation of me going harsh on myself, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have, this is the most important thing. You have just spoken. He asked you the most critical question, and you're talking in circles instead of just saying, hell yeah, I was. And I'm so proud of myself that I was.
No, and like
Yeah.
honestly, like I'm happy that that was the answer because, you know, we could have gone the opposite direction and we'd be sitting here having a whole different conversation. But you should be patting yourself on the back. You really should, because
Right.
and it's not because you had all green days. It's because you
No.
were disciplined.
Exactly. That's the win, man. That's the win.
Yeah, I haven't taken that way that much.
No kidding. So your homework is to go freaking celebrate that. That is the accomplishment, the discipline you showed.
Also, one practice that have made me so like thinking all of the reasons not to enter a trade will that be like the best setup. And I've never called myself an idiot this week, like not even once. And also that goes to the same thing. And that's how I approach it from now on. Just how well I execute, and just being an American cougar completely.
Yes. So, but Eunice, will you take on the homework assignment to celebrate that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good assignment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can take.
Come back, report in.
I think I got this. I think I can handle this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It might be the easiest homework assignment Kim Ann's ever assigned.
But you know what's so funny, Ricky, is sometimes these are the ones nobody does, because it is actually hard for people to celebrate themselves. It is hard for people to pat themselves on the back.
Well, that's one of the things I always tell people to do, is to learn how to celebrate losses if they were disciplined, right? And it's the exact same thing. You're not celebrating the outcome. You're celebrating the process. You're celebrating the fact that, you might not have wanted to take the loss, but you did, and you knew it was right. And so you're reinforcing it in your head that, hey, I know it hurt, but it was the right thing to do. And that's what you have to like solidify in the head. And no different than what you were saying is like shooting holes in a thesis before you even put the trade on, right? Like, how many trades did you pass up that you might have taken that they might not have met all the criteria you had, and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna skip this trade, and you didn't call yourself an idiot for it. And listen, here's the other thing, is like, you can shoot holes in a thesis. You can go, you know what, it's missing like this, maybe it's not liquid enough, it's not extended enough, whatever it might be. And then later on, it might have worked. And then you can get caught up in that whole, God, I should have taken it. No, you work with the information you have at the time, right?
Correct.
You make the best decision you can at the moment. And then sticking to your guns, that's discipline, and that should be celebrated. So like, again, even though it wasn't even a trade that you're looking at the outcome, it wasn't red, it wasn't green, it was a no trade. That in itself is still discipline. So again, should be celebrated, should be reinforced in your psyche, and kudos to you for doing it.
Exactly. All right, Eunice, you got a lot of coaching today from the master himself, and I'm so glad. Ricky, and take note, Ricky, you have a constant open door to come into this room anytime, whenever you show up
Yeah,
here.
well,
I sometimes hesitate to ask you because I'm like, you're off duty now. You probably don't want to have to talk trading, but I'm always wanting you to come in.
No, I mean, I'm
Eunice, I'm going to
you know,
let you go. Come back with your homework completed, okay?
Yep, sure.
Okay, good. Always, Ricky. You're always
well, it's good to
welcome.
know, and I love it because you know, you and me have a good rapport, so
We do.
it's
We
always
do.
fun.
And we've done this so many times. It's just like we have the rhythm to the dance. We got the rhythm to the dance. Ricky, I can't even tell you how the voicemail is overflowing. It's like I don't even know what happened. We have like all these voicemails that there's so many I can't even take it on right now. But I'm gonna have to answer all those with one of these lives. But it's good. It means that people are finally, feeling comfortable to put that challenge in the voicemail. So that's good. But
Nice.
we put the phone number up just recently and it really wasn't being utilized, but I just checked it now and I'm like, whoa, what the hell just
Well,
happened?
make sure you look and figure out maybe there was something that changed, and if you identify what it was,
Yeah.
you should be putting more energy into that because
Okay.
don't chalk it up to just luck. Okay.
Well, I just think maybe it's the frequency because it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and now I started an X space now on Fridays, so
Okay.
maybe it's just cumulative,
Hey, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, but like,
Of course, Gary. I know
So-
Gary from
yeah,
20 years ago. We met in New York City at an affiliate summit. I actually had coffee with him in Starbucks, tried to sell him on my coaching to go out with his book Crusher. Remember when Crusher first
yeah, I
came out?
remember Crush It.
I was like, I think this is great stuff, Gary, but people have a hard time implementing change. So I think you should advocate my coaching and do that with your launch for Crush It. And he did think about it for a hot minute, but
Well, like the reason I brought him up is because you know, his message for a long time was just to give, and then ask, right? Like the jab, right hook. And you know, that's what it might be that's working for you here, right? You just keep giving, and people eventually are like, who is this person that just nonstop gives? And it becomes almost like undeniable, and you have to like be like, can I help it? Like, Kim, that's exactly how I feel about you. Is like you're always giving, and I'm like, dude, I see it from afar. And I've always told people this in trading too, right? Like the people I see that are like trying to help themselves and trying to help other people, I'm always willing to like kind of like do what I can for them. And you're no different. Like I saw it from afar, and I was like, dude, you do it so consistently and so unselfishly that I'm just like, yeah, anything I can do to help you, anytime. Okay.
you're the one. You're the one who found me. You're the one who saw me, brother.
Well,
You're
like I
the
said, I
one.
saw it from afar. I was like, that lady's got it going on. Let's speak out.
That was like 5-6 years ago when you
Yeah, it's
saw
been a
me.
minute now.
Damn.
Time flies. Time flies. I'm not kidding.
It does.
Dude, my cousin sent me this thing from it was some clip, like I guess a soundbite of Dana White from UFC. And he's like, dude, everybody thinks they have all the time in the world. And you know, you don't have any time at all. Like you wake up, he goes, I'm 57, and I'm here to tell you, like you don't have time. And that resonates with me so much because my kids just started school, and I'm like, dude, like Ricky, I remember taking him to kindergarten. He started first grade, and now Kai's in second. My oldest is in 9th grade, high school, and I'm like,
Totally. It's crazy. It's crazy. Eunice is telling us he's going to go along with the homework now. Good, Eunice. I'm glad you're going to do that homework. That is a homework for anybody here who knows they've been disciplined, who is similar to what Eunice talked about. You guys should take that homework assignment on too. Find a way to celebrate yourself. You don't have to spend a lot of money, or you can if it's appropriate, but just find a way to celebrate your discipline because it isn't done often enough. We used to get gold stars in school when we did a really good job on a project. When was the last time you gave yourself your version of gold star? How about you, Ricky? When was the last time you gave yourself a gold star?
I got a gold star right here.
Okay.
I was very disciplined today. I went to the gym. I went to the gym at like 11 a.m. Well, I walked away from the screens. My wife's gone. She's in Boston for the
Is
week.
she? Oh, wow.
So she went to this survival retreat where they like try to go in the woods and be Marines again. It's nuts. And so the funniest shit was I was like, yeah, I think she gets home today. And I this is the longest I have gone without talking to my wife ever 10 years. And so I was like, so I sent her photos of the kids' first day of school.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no response, nothing. And I was like, man, like your brain starts to kind of wander. I'm like, fuck, I hope nothing bad happened, right? Like, whatever.
Yep.
So today I come home from the gym and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on her laptop and see if her flight details are in her email. And it turns out she doesn't get home till Friday. I was like, fuck. All right, we're just winging it here. I mean, we're all huddled around the campfire with some and shit, but I mean,
But it's such a good point. Our minds will create meaning. Usually that's negative.
yeah, no, we always, dude, we're always thinking the worst, right?
We always are. It's look, on one hand, that has kept us alive in these thousands of years, right? We've stayed alive because we are constantly thinking the worst, but it can get a little bit old after a while. And we have to remember sometimes it's because it's good news that she's just not coming back till Friday.
Yeah, no, like, you're 100% right, and I hadn't even thought about that. Like, it is weird how our brains default to, you
The
know,
worst case scenario.
there's an unknown outcome, and the ones our brains will think of are the negative ones. Like,
Totally. And I think it's great, a great survival technique, or if you come from a volatile childhood, it's what kept our asses safe. But we have to at least notice that default setting tends to be negative because it can trap us sometimes. I know it can for me.
so I don't want to keep you too long, but this really like reminded me of something that was trading related.
What?
And
Tell me.
my brain would always put trades on. This is maybe like a few months ago, and I don't remember where I read it, but I was doing self-improvement, basically reading books on self-development.
Yeah.
And something struck me that I was like, wow, that can be applied to trading. And it was, we always say like, what if? And then the words that follow what if are negative words. And it's like, we never leave ourselves open to the possibility of a positive outcome. And I was like, dude, that's so trading related. I was like, dude, I put a trade on. I go, this ain't going to work. Watch, as soon as I put it on, it's going to go against me. And like, this is from a person who's been trading for like, we're coming up on 13 years. So like for people out there, they're like, there's no way that still happens after I've been trading 6, 7, 8 years. Yes, it does. It never thing in the back of our head.
Exactly.
The second we put a trade on, it's just not going to work. And so I've always told traders too that like I expect a trade to not work when I put it on. I do that for the reason that it makes it easy to stop out when I need to. So I like already have accounted for the loss, but that doesn't account for the emotions you go through while in the trade. And that is where you're doing this whole, man, this ain't going to work. Like as soon as I put it on, blah, blah, blah. And somebody that I was reading about was saying like, dude, flip that on its head and start saying like, this could, like, what if this works? What if, this turns into like a trade that just really starts to go in your favor? And, get rid of the negative side of it, because at the end of the trade, it's going to do what the fuck it's going to do.
Exactly.
Your thinking has no bearing on the outcome. It only has a bearing on you and your emotions. So if you want to give yourself the best chance of allowing something to play out and do what it's going to do, you might as well stay in a positive mind state. And you might as well tell yourself things that are like, look, lots of stuff in the market is random. It's not just going to go straight to your target. Maybe it's going to have a pullback and then go. Like, what if this works? And, you start saying like, what if this works? And then you change it a little bit after a little time. You say, this might work. And then it becomes, this is going to work. And it's like, you know what? none of those statements have any bearing on the outcome. They only have a bearing on you and your mentality and your attitude. So that was one of those things that I was like, when you started talking about like the way we fall to these negative outcomes, that really resonated.
There was somebody who taught me to take the what if and turn it into even if.
Yes.
So we feel more powerful, right? So, okay, even if this trade doesn't go the way I hope, I will be able to come out of it. I will be able to respond accordingly. I feel comes from a place where we can start to see we have the capacity to deal with anything that shows up.
Yeah. I just thought it was an interesting
It's
thing.
huge.
Miami, but yeah, like, man,
It's huge.
and like, the more you trade, the more you realize that we're not wired for it, and it's the reason markets work the way they work, right? Like,
Absolutely.
if we were hardwired to do this, then nobody would be able to make money because the markets wouldn't exist.
Totally. But boy, the people that are that I just feel that market is reflecting back to them all those idiosyncrasies that, yes, probably saved us, like Eunice is saying, when we were out on the Serengeti, but we're not on the Serengeti now. It just feels like it for a trader.
Yeah, 100%.
So Alex C, thanks for being here. 210, that's the most we've had. But of course, it's because you're here, Ricky. You're a rock star, Mr. Legend. So
yeah, right, that's true at all, man. They're me.
But just know, anytime you come in here, you come right in. You don't even, there's just to presume the welcome mat has been put out for you. Okay.
I've noted it. Thank you very much.
Good. So I want to just say thank you also to Eunice for coming in, and for was it Alex? I think Alex, you came in too. If you guys are able to, please find Eunice and Alex and thank them either on their Twitter or here in the room, because it takes a lot of guts to come in front of a live room and be vulnerable, people. So please give them some, kudos for being brave enough to speak the things that the rest of you didn't come in and speak, because everybody struggles with it. Mazen, it's good to have you here. Thank you for being here. It's my pleasure. And I can't thank Ricky enough for coming in. Ricky shows up unannounced sometimes, and I'm always so happy to see you. I'm always happy when you're here. I'm like, Ricky's here. Yay. Oh, wait, your sound got cut off. What'd you say?
No, I was saying thank you for having these and providing the platform for these traders to come in and talk about these things.
It's good. It's good stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to close it up. There's a whole bunch of voicemail that I didn't address today because it's just too many, but I will take them on. I think, Liz, you wanted to come in here too. Liz, let's put you over to Thursday. So I'll take on all those voicemails Thursdays, guys. If you've left voicemail, just know I'll get to them on Thursday. Mahalo. Oh, mahalo. We got a mahalo in the house.
I saw that.
We got a local someplace. Are you in Hawaii? Even they have the flower by their name. I'm curious. Do you miss Hawaii, Ricky?
Oh my God. I don't miss trading from there, but I miss Hawaii.
I bet you don't miss trading from here.
I swear to God, I may move back there. I don't know. We're in Florida now, and the weather's just too humid. So wow. I may see you in the near future.
Okay, come to the Big Island. What does Oahu have anyway? We got it all here. How much fun would that be? Then, Ricky, maybe we could actually do. We talked about that. Like a retreat or an intensive for traders. Wouldn't that be fun to do that?
Yeah, that would be sick.
That would be really cool. All right, we'll be here Thursday. Good PTO, Tina. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Ricky, for making this always just so much more fun.
Love you guys.
Shaka, right back at you. All right, everybody, be safe out there and be kind to